3 years ago, my daughter threw me out of the house, handing me just $20 for the journey and ordering me never to return. After years of quiet and deceit, she abruptly phoned and requested to stay in my new $1,200,000 home. Yet I realized it was not about kinship. It was about cash. I resolved to give her a final lesson. Before we proceed, please subscribe to the channel and share in the comments where you are tuning in from. The phone's sharp ring pierced the evening stillness like a knife. I placed down my crystal glass and gazed at the illuminated screen. Emily. After 3 years of silence, she was calling. Rain pounded against the tall windows of my Manhattan home office. City lights smeared into watercolor lines across the Hudson River. I had been examining my real estate holdings when the disruption occurred. The oak desk mirrored the gentle light of my banker's lamp. Documents scattered like strategic maps over its smooth top. I allowed it to ring twice more before picking up. "Hello, Emily." "Dad." Her tone held that familiar scheming charm I recalled, laced with false affection. "I have missed you terribly. I hope to invite you to a family meal this Saturday." My fingers located the corner of an old family picture hidden among financial papers. 3 happy faces from a distant era. I turned it over. Family meal. The phrase tasted sour. How considerate. We could reconnect. Perhaps begin anew. Her voice faltered a bit, the rehearsed purity slipping. "I know things have been difficult." Difficult. I reclined in my leather seat, feet resting on the desk. 3 years ago, you evicted me with $20. Quite a lapse in recollection you possess there. Silence lingered between us, interrupted only by the rain's constant rhythm. I could detect her breathing shift, shallow and rapid. "I do not understand what riches you are referring to." "Dad, I simply thought, of course you do not know." The falsehood was so obvious. It was nearly offensive. Everyone in our former social group knew of my achievements. Property deeds were open records. My shift from shattered outcast to multimillionaire had not been discreet. "Tell me, what is the true motive for this abrupt family gathering?" Her tone grew softer, more urgent. "Cannot a daughter simply wish to see her father?" I lifted my glass, swirling the golden fluid, the heft of genuine crystal, the sting of matured bourbon, indulgences that would have been dreams 3 years ago. "Saturday night, I presume at the old residence." "Yes, 6 o'clock. Mom is preparing that stew you once enjoyed." "Your mother." I hesitated, allowing the words to dangle. "Still cohabiting with Ethan, I assume." "They are wed now," she murmured. "Best wishes to the joyful pair." My tone stayed even, composed, businesslike. "I will attend." Truly, the ease in her voice was pitiful. "Oh, Dad, that is marvelous. We can," I stated. "I will attend." This ought to be instructive for everyone. I terminated the call without awaiting her reply. The gratifying snap of ending echoed in the abrupt hush. The city glows blurred through the rain-streaked panes as buried recollections started resurfacing. I stood from my chair, joints mildly objecting. The bourbon scorched as I emptied the glass, then strolled through my home like a conqueror inspecting claimed land. Each space displayed change, from the Spanish marble entry to the chef's kitchen with its top-tier equipment. But Emily's call had opened a fissure. Memory pieces flooded like water from a ruptured barrier. The family room sparked it first. Plush leather couch, wool blankets, vista of tended lawns. So unlike that summer day in 2022 when I entered our tight Brooklyn home and discovered my existence unraveled. Luggage by the entrance. Sophia on the sofa beside a stranger. Tall, silvering at the sides, occupying my place as if he possessed it. Ethan's relocating here, she declared without glancing from her device. You must depart. No introduction. No rationale. 30 years of union concluded with the offhand manner she used for rejecting a solicitor. I wandered through my present kitchen, fingers gliding over quartz surfaces. The difference was striking, then against now. That day, soiled plates crammed our former sink. Today, my kitchen was immaculate, worthy of a glossy publication. Emily had appeared from her room, duffel bags over her arm like heading to university, but her gaze contained something novel, icy computation. You are a loser, Dad, she stated, voice firm as a magistrate delivering verdict. Mom is correct. You no longer fit here. The $20 bill she pushed into my hand was fresh, likely from a cash machine. For fuel, she clarified as if the act was kindness instead of affront. The recollection trailed me upstairs to my main bedroom. Velvet drapes, oversized bed with luxury linens, reading spot ideally placed for morning rays from the river. All selected intentionally, lavishly. The Motel 8 chamber reeked of heavy cleaner and shattered hopes. Slim walls, slimmer bed, the endless drone of roadway noise beyond fractured lot pavement. I settled the weekly fee in advance. More economical that way, the receptionist noted, tallying my wrinkled notes twice. Quick ramen for supper, quick brew for breakfast. The sort of life I believed was forever past after years of reliable labor. Prudent saving, constructing what I thought was an unbreakable base. On my bedside table rested a silver-framed image. The final family shot before all collapsed. Emily at 28, still acting the loyal child part. Sophia with her flawless grin, already scheming my removal. And me, unaware as a sheep nearing the blade. Those initial weeks were the toughest. Building site cleanup tasks, eatery dishwashing, any cash-paying gig without checks. My palms roughened once more, back sore from toil I had not done since my 20s. But amid that cleaner-scented space, between disgrace and fury, something else sprouted. Resolve, the type that flourishes best in shadow. I brushed the photo's cool face. The kin in the frame beamed back at me. Outsiders from another existence. Tomorrow would show exactly how distant I had journeyed from that crushed man with $20. Morning sun poured through my bedroom panes, turning the Hudson River into liquid gold. 6:30 a.m., and I was already alert. Old patterns from building days, though now I rose to French press coffee rather than instant desperation. The kitchen greeted me with the quiet whir of costly machines. I milled fresh beans, the deep scent filling the area like sacred smoke in a temple of my creation. While the device operated its wonder, I spread the Financial Times and checked overnight market shifts. Odd how habit could conceal upheaval. 3 years ago, I had scanned job listings for temporary work. Now, I was figuring returns on an 8-figure collection. August 2022, $20,000 from the separation agreement. My portion of what Sophia considered valueless holdings. The rundown property in the Bronx appeared like city ruin embodied. Shattered panes, drooping veranda, base problems that deterred all other purchasers. But I spotted promise where others saw flaws. My office records contained the evidence of that initial risk. The buy contract, now mounted like a certificate, displayed the cost, $60,000. 5 months of 18-hour fix-up days, mastering pipes and wiring via online tutorials and library texts. January sale, $90,000 profit. My first true win. The holdings file contained the remainder of the tale, asset after asset, each buy bolder than the prior. Winter 2022 turned to spring 2023, turned to summer triumph. Every gain reused, every insight gained and utilized. The pivotal moment arrived in November. A seizure in Queens. Holder defaulted on repair debts. Lender eager to offload. I toured the partial complete structure and noticed what others overlooked. Prime spot. Strong framework. Labor already begun. $280,000 buy price. 7 months of meticulous rebuild. $580,000 sale price. That earnings altered all. I savored my coffee, full and layered. Nothing like the acrid station brew that kept me going through those early periods. The bank record in my drawer indicated the present sum. $15.2 million on net value that would cause Sophia to gag on her morning drink. My device displayed ignored calls from the prior night. Agents with fresh prospects. Builders quoting on ventures. Backers seeking alliances. The sort of issues prosperous folks encountered. Every spike I hammered. Every slab I placed. Every restless night plotting the next step. All led here to this kitchen. This panorama. This instant of silent victory before the tempest. The image montage on my cooler narrated the visual account. Pre- and post photos of each holding. News clips on area renewal. Honor notes from the New York Property Council. Proof of revival. Saturday's meal invite was not chance. Emily was sinking. Likely Sophia, too. And they required a rescue. The $20 donor was prepared to negotiate conditions. I completed my coffee and headed to the office, settling into my seat with the contentment of a commander overlooking a field. Asset listings awaited on my display. Venture chances that would have been unattainable fantasies mere months past. The morning extended forward, brimming with options. For the first time in years, I commanded each one. Then my phone sounded again. 50 hours elapsed before the next call arrived. I had spent Friday morning assessing purchase agreements. Hot coffee steaming next to monetary forecasts that seemed impossible 4 years prior. The April rain drummed steadily against my office panes, forming the ideal backdrop for commerce. My phone vibrated. Sophia's name emerged on the screen like a specter from a past life. I removed my spectacles deliberately, placed them beside the agreement I was studying, let it ring 3 times before responding. Hello, Sophia. Logan. Her voice bore that same honeyed allure she had honed during our union. I trust I am not disturbing anything vital. You never concerned yourself with that previously. I leaned back in my leather chair, pen ready over a notepad. What do you require? It is regarding Emily. The practiced quiver in her tone was nearly masterful. She is confronting an unforeseen monetary emergency, and I figured, well, as her father. Background sounds seeped through the link. Papers shuffling. Murmured haste I could not fully discern. What type of emergency? I maintained my tone impartial. Expert. The same manner I would employ with a builder attempting to boost quotes. Bad commerce choices. The lenders are warning of court proceedings. Her respiration accelerated slightly. I would not inquire if it were not critical. She could forfeit all. Tell him about the court issues came clearly through the device. Emily's voice keen with worry. Sophia's break endured precisely 4 seconds. I mean, the circumstance is rather grave. How grave I inscribed act on my notepad. Encircled it thrice. Merely 75,000 would resolve the instant crisis. The figure spilled out too swiftly, too rehearsed. I recognize it is substantial, but request more. Mom. Emily's guidance transmitted flawlessly through whatever inexpensive speaker they employed. The quiet that ensued could have sliced stone. I comprehend. I set down my pen, astonished at how clear need rendered individuals. And what leads you to believe I possess that sort of funds available? Well, I learned Sophia's voice broke like fragile frost. Folks converse, about your prosperity. Folks discuss many matters. I rotated my chair toward the window, observing rain streak down glass that likely cost more than their monthly lease. Not all precise. Logan, please. She is your daughter. My daughter ejected me with $20 and labeled me a loser. The words emerged serene, gauged, actual. Now she requires $75,000 from a loser. That was altered. She was distressed. She was truthful. I picked up my coffee mug, relished the rich heat. Brutally, refreshingly truthful. But you are her father. Kinship means not one penny. The decisiveness in my voice startled even me. Ever, you cannot be earnest. I concluded the call midway through her words and placed the phone aside. The rain persisted its steady beat against my windows, cleansing the city while leaving the essential elements unaltered. Precisely what I anticipated. Precisely what I desired. I reclined in my chair for precisely 40 seconds, then grasped my personal mobile. Time for a small trial of my own. Sunday morning delivered clear sunlight through my office panes, changing the Hudson River into beaten silver. I had devoted the prior night plotting my method, and now sat with fresh brew, phone capture app prepared, ready to verify what I already presumed. The call to Emily would decide all. I rehearsed my beaten tone thrice, then dialed her digits. She responded on the third ring, voice lively with anticipation. Dad, I hoped you would contact Emily. Dear, I infused just enough shake to seem genuine. I have dreadful news about my ventures. What sort of news? Her zeal faded visibly. The market suffered a horrible dip yesterday. I have lost nearly all. The deception came smoother than anticipated. Asset values plummeted. Borrowed positions demanded. It is a catastrophe. Quiet extended between us like a gulf widening. How much is all? She inquired cautiously. I am consulting with insolvency attorneys next week. I paused for emphasis, gazing at my real bank record showing 9 figures. The seizure notices begin coming Tuesday. Seizure notices. Her tone had become dull, assessing. But you claimed you were prospering. I believed I was. Turns out I was overborrowed, too assured. I permitted real sorrow to seep in. Not for vanished funds, but for what I was about to uncover. I am so sorry this impacts our Saturday arrangements. The break that followed endured precisely 15 seconds. I tallied. What does this signify precisely? Emily's manner had transformed entirely. No compassion, no solace, pure math. How much remains, perhaps sufficient for a tiny flat, if fortunate? I shut my eyes, preparing for the blow. I know this alters all for you. What, seriously? The facade dropped completely now. Then do not come to supper Saturday. No delay. No. We will resolve it jointly. Or funds do not matter. Just frigid rejection, quick as a dagger between bones. I comprehend fully. My voice remained steady through pure determination. This alters all for you. I mean, what is the purpose if you cannot? She halted herself, but too tardy. I am sorry, Dad, but this is truly complex timing. Thank you for being so forthright about your emotions. It is not about emotions. It is about farewell. Emily. I ended the call and remained still for a complete minute, staring at the device. 30 years of parenthood diminished to a deal, and when the cash vanished, so did the daughter. The capture had recorded all, her tone, her focuses, her total absence of worry for my alleged ruin, ideal proof of what I already knew but required affirmed. I preserved the file with today's date and launched my computer. Time to discover precisely what my kin had been concealing from me. The weekend vanished into inquiry and scheming. By Tuesday morning, I had gathered enough basic data to realize I needed expert aid. Emily's flopped enterprise showed scores of client grievances across various sites. Sophia's social media health fundraising appeared increasingly dubious under examination. Daniel Hayes's Midtown office filled the 17th floor of a steel tower overlooking New York Harbor. Ex-FBI per his qualifications, now focusing on monetary scam probes. Precisely what I required. Mr. Fitzgerald. Hayes was younger than foreseen, late 40s with keen eyes and a solid grip. You noted needing history confirmation on 2 persons. I settled into the guest seat, observing the certificates and awards blanketing his walls. Expert skill emanated from every area. My daughter and former spouse have approached me for major financial support. I kept my manner commercial, factual. I need full history reviews before any choices. Routine caution. Hayes opened a new file holder. What particular zones worry you? Any legal weaknesses, deceitful acts, or falsified situations? I passed across the fundamental info sheets I had readied. Privacy is crucial. They must not learn of this probe. Hayes examined the papers adequately. 10 days for thorough reports. My charge is $7,000, costs covered. Acceptable, I penned the payment right away. How in-depth will your discoveries be? All lawfully accessible? Open files, court submissions, commerce enrollments, client complaints, media scrutiny. He stowed the payment in the holder. If deception is present, I will uncover it. Friday delivered the initial report. Hayes's voice bore no opinion, just details conveyed with expert accuracy. Your daughter ran an online shop named Elite Home Goods from February through November 2023. He pushed records across his desk. She gathered roughly $220,000 from buyers and supplied almost nothing. The proof was condemning. Images of phony item listings, client grievance collections, transaction logs showing funds taken but no delivery. Emily had operated a methodical scam scheme. Several buyers are contemplating court action. Hayes proceeded. But they lack coordination. No official accusations lodged yet. What about my former spouse? More intriguing. Hayes opened another holder. She has collected considerable funds via social media health campaigns, asserting diverse ailments. Health documents show no major health problems at all. Monday's concluding session finished the image. Hayes's detailed portfolio disclosed the complete extent of their deceptions. Tax effects for undeclared earnings, possible criminal accusations for scam, a network of falsehoods that extended deeper than I envisioned. Your former spouse's unreported contribution income could spark national tax probes, Hayes clarified. Your daughter confronts potential serious charges if buyers organize correctly. I examined the hefty holders, amazed at how fully they had built their fragile structure. Both ladies existing on loaned time, loaned cash, loaned trust. Superb effort. I rose to exit. Holders secured under my arm. Forward your last bill to my commerce address. The drive back took precisely 28 minutes. Time sufficient to absorb what I had acquired. To value the range of options now open. They had provided me every tool I needed for flawless, lawful retribution. Back in my office, I laid the proof across my oak desk, like war strategies, buyer contact details, scam records, evidence of tax avoidance, all essential to engineer their total downfall. He shut the thick holder and grabbed his phone. Time to begin placing some very intriguing calls to very irritated folks. Monday evening delivered the gratifying heft of full data. Daniel Hayes's files blanketed my oak desk like war strategies. Buyer grievance lists, health documents, scam records, 3 years of methodical deceit exposed in stark print. I organized the proof in tidy piles, enjoying the irony. They had constructed their fragile structure so meticulously, never picturing someone might record every falsehood, every theft, every fabricated tear for false pity. Time for the act of a lifetime, Emily answered on the initial ring, voice taut with scarcely held worry. Dad. Emily. Dear, I injected just enough thrill to sound real. You will not believe what occurred. That urgent agreement I mentioned succeeded. Wait. What urgent agreement? I thought you forfeited all. Market fluctuations. You know, one day down, the next up. I leafed through her scam files while talking, examining photos of items that never were. I not only regained all, but earned an extra $4 million in the process. The quiet that followed lasted precisely 10 seconds. I could almost hear the mechanisms turning in her mind. Oh my word, her voice changed wholly. Urgency swapped by computed charm. That is astonishing. I am so pleased for you. I suppose that Saturday supper invite is reinstated. About Saturday? She hesitated, mustering her bravery. I hoped we could still hold that family meal. I have missed you greatly, and I think it would be splendid for us to reunite as kin. The same voice that had coldly rejected me 30 hours prior now oozed with synthetic warmth. Classic control exactly as foreseen. Of course, dear, kin comes first. I turned to Sophia's health documents, noting the total lack of any severe ailment. Though I must inquire, how are you faring financially? You seemed troubled about something before. Well, she extended the term, readying her appeal. I dislike even bringing this up, but I have been experiencing some commerce troubles. Nothing severe, just liquidity issues. What sort of issues? Buyer grievances mainly. Some folks claim they never got their purchases, but I'm certain it is merely delivery holdups. The falsehood came so effortlessly. I nearly respected the ability. If you could provide just $300,000, it would fix all. Grant me time to resolve these confusions. $300,000, quite exact for someone with simple liquidity problems. That is a notable sum, I said reflectively. Let me ponder how best to assist my daughter. Really, you would contemplate it. The relief in her voice was tangible. Dad, you have no notion how much this signifies to me. We will talk it over correctly on Saturday. I will need to shift some assets, but kin is kin. Thank you. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to see you. I concluded the call and leaned back in my chair, studying the proof spread before me. 220,000 pilfered from buyers, scores of people she had swindled, disregarded, dismissed as insignificant. Yet she had requested 300,000 from me without pause. The daughter I had nurtured had become an unknown capable of organized scam. The trial call had affirmed my darkest fears, while concurrently supplying ideal rationale for what followed next. He concluded the call and reached for the contact card Daniel Hayes had enclosed with the file. Time to present some very annoyed folks to the idea of fairness. Tuesday morning found me in Jonathan Brooks's Midtown office. Foolproof files scattered across his meeting table like parts of an intricate riddle. Rain marked the windows 50 stories above New York Harbor, creating the perfect setting for plotting legal battle. This is firm proof. Logan. Jonathan examined the scam records with expert detachment. She has clearly performed deliberate scam, not simple commerce ineptitude. I had known Jonathan for 18 years. Card games, festive gatherings, the type of bond that endures separation and job shifts. He grasped both my legal necessities and emotional stake in this matter. How swiftly can we advance once the documents are delivered? The schedule you are asking for is bold, but fully lawful. He arranged buyer grievances into time order. Delivery agent can be there at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. That provides you time to arrive first. Perfect. I want her to grasp that deeds have results. Are you sure about this method? Once we commence, there is no reversal. Jonathan's worry was sincere, professional. Your daughter will confront grave monetary and possibly criminal results. She selected this route when she chose to pilfer from innocent folks. The afternoon melted into methodical phone discussions. Daniel Hayes's contact roster supplied names, numbers, and loss figures for 35 cheated buyers. Each talk followed the same format. Starting doubt, increasing enthusiasm, keen involvement in group legal effort. Lisa Patel, a 36-year-old educator from Brooklyn, surfaced as the natural representative for the group. Her voice bore the restrained anger of someone who had been professionally courteous too long. "We have been attempting to locate her for months," she clarified during our fourth talk. $7,500 for a living room suite that never existed. I saved for 10 months for that decor. "You will not be solitary anymore," I promised her. Expert legal counsel, divided expenses, utmost effect. You are earnest about aiding us. What is your link to Emily Fitzgerald? I am a worried resident with access to her present site and considerable proof of organized scam. By night, Jonathan's crew had labored extra preparing thorough suit documents. The meeting room hummed with concentrated vigor. Assistants sorting proof, colleagues researching examples, all understanding the value of flawless legal performance. "Delivery agent verified for tomorrow night," Jonathan declared. Checking the final schedule. Private home. Several observers present. This will be unforgettable. Wednesday morning brought last coordination discussions. Michael Lee, our delivery agent, had 25 years' experience with tough scenarios. His serene expertise vowed faultless performance. "Family supper setting means emotional observers," he clarified. "Ideal for mental impact, assuming that is your aim." Mental impact is precisely the aim. Delivery will be comprehensive, professional, and entirely lawful. She will have no basis for method appeals. The legal apparatus was in action. 35 victims would finally witness fairness, supported by unbreakable proof and proper counsel. Emily's fragile structure would crumble before the kin that had facilitated her scam through deliberate blindness. I reviewed the synchronized assault schedule one last time. Legal documents for Emily at 8 o'clock. Utmost kin impact. No exit paths. No legal loopholes. No compassion for organized theft masked as commerce failure. He departed Jonathan's office with legal fairness in motion and grasped his phone again. Time to guarantee Sophia confronted her own judgment through alternate paths. Wednesday afternoon required exact timing. The legal attack on Emily was secured and primed, but Sophia needed a distinct method. Health scam merited public revelation. Tax dodging justified national probe. I set to meet Sarah Thompson at a neutral Midtown cafe. The New York Herald's probe reporter focused on social media scams. Ideal skills for dismantling platform influencer frauds. I possess recorded proof of organized scam by a prominent New York area social media figure. I started, pushing the envelope across the modest table. Sarah's expert doubt was instant. Nameless sources demand exceptional confirmation. What type of scam? She has gathered over $300,000 in contributions for a phony health condition. I observed her look change from skepticism to keen curiosity. The health records prove she never had the ailment she has been asserting. She opened the envelope cautiously. scanning Daniel Hayes's records with practiced speed. Health documents, platform metrics, earnings estimates, all needed for a crushing reveal. These are grave claims needing substantial verification. Her voice bore the controlled thrill of a journalist detecting major tail potential. Platform influencer scam is growing widespread, but this degree of health deceit is especially outrageous. This is not vengeance reporting, I assured her. This is community service, shielding future targets from advanced health control. If this verifies, we can release online within hours. The tax effects alone will spark national probe. While Sarah started her confirmation process, I reached the IRS alert line. Robert Kim, a New York office tax scam investigator, focused on social media earnings tax dodging cases. I am reporting organized tax dodging by a person with considerable unreported social media earnings, I clarified, supplying Sophia's details and proof overview. What is your relation to the individual? How did you gain this data? I am a concerned resident with access to openly available data and legitimate monetary records gained through legal probe. We will require recorded proof of earnings sources and tax submission differences. Can you supply exact dollar sums and periods? Full records are being sent to your office today. Estimated unreported earnings surpass 300,000 over 20 months. The synchronization was impeccable. Sarah would release her reveal online at 9 o'clock, exactly during our kin supper. The IRS probe would start Thursday morning with official review proceedings. Sophia's standing would shatter while she sat at her own supper table, likely checking her platform for approval she would never get again. The platform will probably close her account once this spreads widely, Sarah remarked during our last synchronization call. That is actually ideal timing. Utmost impact, minimal recovery period. The tax probe will take months, but the standing harm is instant and lasting. Fairness arrives in many shapes. Sometimes social results are more potent than legal ones. By 6:30, both assaults were synchronized and prepared. Legal documents for Emily at 8 o'clock. Media ruin for Sophia at 9 o'clock. A perfect tempest of results for 3 years of organized deceit and kin betrayal. I shut my computer and glanced at my timepiece. In 3 hours, fairness would finally be delivered beside supper. The 55-minute drive to Brooklyn gave me time to relish the nearing instant. April evening traffic moved smoothly, as if the world itself was aligning my arrival. I pulled into the known driveway at exactly 7:30, timeliness being vital for what ensued. The house appeared tinier than I recalled. Warm glow spilled from the eating room windows, crafting a mirage of home peace that would soon break like inexpensive crystal. I carried a stylish gift container, vacant but flawlessly packaged for mental effect. Every element counted in the act I was about to present. Logan. Sophia opened the door with staged zeal, adornments sparkling from recent contribution buys. You appear splendid. Prosperity truly fits you. It is good to be back in this house, I responded, stepping into the entry where I had once been given $20 and my exit orders. Recalls so many memories. The eating room table was arranged for 4, flames dancing over Sophia's finest dishes. Emily emerged from his kitchen, anxiously adjusting her outfit, clearly selected to project prosperity she lacked. Dad. Her hug felt measured, rehearsed. I am so glad you could attend, despite all that transpired lately. Water under the span. Dear. I positioned the gift container noticeably on the side stand. I brought a unique surprise for all, but fine things come to those who endure. Ethan nodded from his spot near the screen, uneasy in dressy clothes, but attempting to act supportive spouse. His discomfort was evident. The man clearly detected undercurrents he could not pinpoint. Supper talk flowed with strained courtesies. Sophia acted gracious hostess while Emily gained assurance for her monetary appeal. I checked my timepiece discreetly. 7:55. 5 minutes until the first shock arrived. We were considering, Emily began precisely on plan. Since you have been so prosperous with ventures, perhaps we could discuss a kin alliance. Kin is all, Sophia added, extending across to clasp my hand. We should always support one another. Absolutely, I concurred. Watching the second hand move toward 8. Prosperity suits you too. Emily, you look like someone who has truly sorted things. The irony was delightful. Here she sat, talking investment chances while evading swindled buyers, planning to seek funds from the father she had tossed like refuse. It is not really an advance, Emily continued, warming to her prepared appeal, more like a collaboration between father and daughter. 300,000 would solve some immediate liquidity matters and place us for incredible gains. 300,000, I echoed thoughtfully. That is quite precise. The doorbell sounded at exactly 8. Emily stiffened midway through her words, bewilderment flashing across her traits. Were we anticipating someone? How unforeseen, I said, scarcely holding my contentment. What remarkable schedule. She rose unwillingly, clearly irked by the break in her meticulously planned display. Through the eating room entrance, I watched her open the front door to a professional-appearing man in a suit. Emily Fitzgerald, I have legal papers for you from the New York County Supreme Court. The color left her face immediately. What, there must be some error. You are being delivered with a group action suit concerning deceitful commerce practices and buyer deception. Please sign here confirming receipt. This is absurd, Sophia called from the eating room. We are having a kin supper here. But I could see Emily's hands trembling as she mishandled the legal documents, reality smashing through her carefully built front like a demolition sphere through fragile material. Ma'am, this regards the Elite Home Goods online shop and multiple counts of deliberate scam. The delivery agent's expert calm contrasted sharply with the disorder now erupting in what had been a tranquil kin assembly. Emily staggered back toward the eating room, papers crackling in her shaking fingers. Sophia was already grasping for her device, confident she could resolve anything with the right links. She had no clue her own judgment was loading on her display. With your resources, Logan, we can employ the top attorneys in New York. Sophia's voice carried the assured command of someone used to manipulating her way out of troubles. This is just a confusion that cash can fix. I stayed seated, observing the scene develop with the satisfaction of a director guiding an orchestra. Emily gripped the legal papers, her face ashen as she started understanding the extent of her woes. I know a lawyer through the platform who focuses on these scenarios, Sophia proceeded, already browsing her device contacts. A few tactical calls will straighten all. How many buyers are noted here? Emily's voice broke as she scanned the suit details. 220,000. I do not have that kind of funds. We unite as kin, Sophia proclaimed, still assured in her capacity to direct solutions. That is what families do. She launched her platform to contact her legal links, but her look shifted instantly from assurance to perplexity. The screen was overwhelmed with alerts, thousands of furious remarks and messages emerging faster than she could handle. What? Why are there thousands of remarks labeling me a scam? Her voice diminished with each term as she scrolled through the digital flood. Someone posted a piece. Local figure's phony ailment revealed. I glanced at my timepiece. 9:10. Sarah Thompson's piece had released exactly on plan. They have my health records. Sophia's alarm was mounting as she read her device screen. How is that feasible? These folks are saying I pilfered funds from illness sufferers. Ethan moved nearer, reading over her shoulder. Sophia, what ailment? What are these folks discussing? It is falsehoods, all falsehoods. But her voice lacked belief as she desperately tried to erase remarks that appeared faster than she could delete. Logan, you must aid us. Use your cash to make this vanish. Make it vanish, I finally spoke, my voice serene as a river surface. Fairness does not vanish because you are uneasy with it. Emily looked up from her legal documents, finally grasping the synchronization. Dad, did you know about this? I find it captivating how swiftly kin loyalty emerges when legal results arrive. I stood gradually, adjusting my coat. The schedule is remarkable. Is it not first your legal woes? Now this piece about your mother's health scam. Health scam. Ethan's voice carried real shock as elements fell into place. Sophia, you have been fabricating about being ill. Her platform account was exploding in real time. Images of the New York Herald piece spread across multiple sites, magnifying the disgrace exponentially. Remarks ranged from disillusioned followers demanding returns to angry contributors threatening court action. This is synchronized, Sophia whispered, the full extent of her ruin becoming evident. Someone schemed this. I already gave you both my surprise, I said, moving toward the door as disorder reached its peak. It is called responsibility. You cannot just depart us like this. Emily's urgency was total now. Both women realizing their final hope for rescue was walking away. We are kin. I paused at the doorway, relishing the instant I had waited 3 years to present. 3 years ago, you ejected me with $20 and called me worthless. My voice carried the weight of every humiliation, every restless night in that heavy motel, every moment of grinding need they dismissed. Tonight you learned what that was truly worth. The door shut behind me with the finality of fairness served cold and complete. Through the pain, I could see both women gazing at their devices, watching their meticulously built lives collapse in real time, while Ethan retreated from the wreckage of his union. 6 months later, I stood on a Florida shore, watching the sun melt into the Atlantic Ocean. The warm grains beneath my feet felt like the reverse of everything that Motel 8 had symbolized. Need, disgrace, urgency replaced by selection, plenty, and tranquility. Jonathan had phoned that morning with the concluding legal news. His voice carried contentment when he delivered the court's ruling. Emily received the utmost civil verdict. He reported $225,000 in repayment plus court fees. The judge was especially severe about the organized nature of her scam and the criminal accusations. Serious scam conviction, 4 years supervision, community labor, and lasting criminal mark. Any future boss will see those accusations. The legal apparatus had advanced with relentless accuracy. 35 victims received full repayment, while Emily faced a decade of low-pay jobs and deducted wages. Fairness delivered through correct paths, exactly as I had schemed. Sophia's ruin had been equally comprehensive, but more open. Sarah Thompson's piece sparked a cascade of probe journalism. Every contribution, every phony health claim, every tax difference exposed for public view. Her platform account was forever banned, her figure career destroyed overnight. The IRS review revealed $300,000 in undeclared earnings. Penalties and owed taxes consumed every holding she had gathered through deceit. She now worked office cleaning gigs while residing in a one-room flat. Her lavish way replaced by stark financial truth. Ethan had filed for separation in June, safeguarding his commerce holdings while separating from his wife's unlawful conduct. Even inactive facilitators faced results when scam reached adequate scale. My device buzzed with the property alert. Another asset chance in Midtown New York. Another opportunity to build genuine wealth through real ability rather than control. I had grown my holdings methodically, each triumph built on honest assessment and tough labor. "You seem so calm here," said Olivia, the lawyer I had met during my Grand Canyon trip last month. She was smart, prosperous, truthful. Everything my prior kin ties had missed. "Like you have released something burdensome." "I learned that some folks earn their spot in your life," I replied, "watching waves wipe footprints in the grains. Others merely fill space until you realize their true worth." 4 years ago, I had gauged my value by their endorsement. Now I understood that real value came from trait, honesty, and the bravery to demand fairness when betrayed. The $20 they had handed me was not an insult. It was an accurate evaluation of what they thought kin loyalty was worth, but they had misjudged everything else. The holiday lease behind us represented choice rather than need. The venture collection generated steady income that would grow for years. The bonds I had formed were based on shared respect rather than control or necessity. Sometimes I pondered if Emily had gained anything from her results. Court-mandated community labor at a shelter for the homeless might teach her what true difficulty looked like. Perhaps observing actual struggling kin would provide viewpoint on the buyers she had swindled. Sophia would probably never alter. Self-absorbed types rarely developed understanding from results, but at least her capacity to harm others was forever reduced. Public revelation had destroyed her stage and trust. The sun vanished into the horizon, coloring the sky in tones of amber and scarlet. Tomorrow I would fly home to New York, where new chances waited alongside the satisfaction of fairness achieved through endurance and correct paths. 3 years ago, they had left me with $20 and called me worthless. Today, I understood my true value had nothing to do with their views and everything to do with my trait. If you enjoyed this tale of resilience and justice, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share your impressions in the comments below. What did you think of Logan's journey? How would you have handled such betrayal? Drop your questions there too, so we can discuss more and interact together. Your thoughts keep the conversation going. For the next story, click the box on the left. Thank you for watching.